You are listening to the Always a Rebel podcast, and this is episode 15, and it's going to be a good one. Like some of you already know, even though my musical life has gone very well lately, it has been a really tough year for me personally. So today I'm going to talk about the importance of music for me to handle my everyday life. And I have some exciting news regarding some of my collaborations, and I also got a great drinking story to share from a listener. So stay tuned and let's play intro. But a rebel, yeah, a rebel you are. And as a rebel you can go where the wind blows. As usual, before we get down to business, if you like this podcast and my music, please give it a like, share or comment, or even better, tell your friends about it. If you want to connect with me more personally and continue the conversation I'm starting here, you can join my email list by signing up at my website jonmagnusson.se. One of the best things I know about being an independent artist is that I don't have a label to answer to. Instead, you as a listener is everything for me. And nothing is better to get a message via social media or even more so via email. Today I have a really great drinking story to share from Jim about him and his dad, but first a little shout out to Deborah Mitten, who wrote this about my music. Really interesting. I don't know how to describe what I felt when I was listening to it. Really haunting and futuristic, like I was in a large empty building and the sounds were hitting me in all directions, clear and pure. Thanks a lot for that, Deborah. It's really interesting to hear how other people interpret my music, and it also gives me a lot of inspiration to keep creating new music. A few weeks ago, I sent out an email asking people about if they could only choose one song to listen to the rest of their lives, which one would it be? I also disclosed that my choice would be Bohemian Rhapsody, since it's one of my favorite songs of all time, but also the one I think I would never grow tired of. As a response, I got this little anecdote back from Jim Ritchie, who is a friend of mine and a longtime supporter of my music. Nice one, Jon. Bohemian Rhapsody is a groundbreaking piece of music. It does take me back to when I was young and got very drunk with my dad of all people. It was New Year's Eve and he said he would take me to a party. I remember us walking together and next time I looked he had disappeared. I couldn't understand it, wondered if he had gone to the party without me. In fact, he had fallen through a hedge. Not knowing where he had gone, I staggered home, giving Bohemian Rhapsody a terrible rendition, attempting to sing all of the parts on my own, or so I was informed the next day by several neighbors. Well, that is a great story, Jim, and I can admit that I have also slaughtered Bohemian Rhapsody once or twice under the influence of alcohol. So if you have a drinking story or any story at all you want to share, send it to me at info@jonmagnusson.se and I might read it out here on the podcast. On the music front, I have some really exciting news. Both my collaborations with the Italian jazz pianist has been done and have been sent for release. First out is Enzo Orefice's arrangement of my new piano piece, Winter is Coming, and it's going to be released the 2nd of December under my piano project Georg Nilsson. Then 1 week after, I'm releasing mine and Alfonso Gugliucci's original jazz composition From Stockholm to Salerno. Salerno being the little town outside of Naples where Alfonso comes from. And since I feel a bit generous today but also a bit lazy, I will give you a little taste of From Stockholm to Salerno. So here you go, sit back and enjoy Alfonso Gugliucci and Beyond the Seasons, From Stockholm to Salerno. I hope you enjoyed this little preview, and remember to mark your calendar for the 9th of December when this will be released, and the 2nd of December when I will release Winter is Coming with Enzo. Last week when I got the final versions of these songs, it really struck me that two established and very skilled Italian pianists wanted to interpret and work with my songs. 3 years ago, when I decided to become a musician full-time, if someone would have told me this would have happened, I wouldn't have believed them, or at least I wouldn't think it would happen so soon. So today I wanted to talk a bit about how important music has become in my life. It has always been important for me, but more so over the last year. Since I was a little kid, I have always been in love with music, and my musical taste has always been a big part of my identity. From the early teens, when I was a big Metallica fan and I collected punk and heavy metal records. Then I went over to indie rock and pop, and also realized I don't have to limit my tastes to only one or two genres. And last 2-3 years I also been indulging in some more advanced genres like jazz and progressive rock. The reason I decided to take my music from a hobby to a professional level was a personal loss that I suffered 3 years ago. To handle the situation, I buried myself in my music, and it really made me realize that this is what I want to do full time and as much as possible. So for 3 years I spent every little moment of free time making music, reaching out to listeners and promoting my music, and so the 26th of August this year I became a full-time self-employed musician. During these 3 years, and especially the last 6 months, I have been forced to deal with some really tough events in my personal life, with my dad getting sick and my daughter misdiagnosed with diabetes. I honestly believe that if I would still work on my day job, I would have managed to keep it up and probably would have crashed totally. Since I'm self-employed, I'm able to manage my own time, and I can work a little bit more when I have the energy, and some days I can just crash on the couch without having to answer to anyone. Besides that, music has also become more and more important when it comes to enduring all these challenges. Since I have a lot of trouble just sitting down and relax, being able to put on some headphones and lose myself in music, be it punk or jazz or even classical, it has really given me a chance to recover and get a moment of respite from life around me. And the more I have learned about music and the better I become of listening actively to it, the more I can enjoy even the simplest 3-chord song. So, to cite my fellow Swedes in ABBA, thank you for the music, or to paraphrase Don McLean and his classic song American Pie, music can indeed save my mortal soul. And to wrap this episode up, I would like to play a part of one of the amazing jazz tunes that gives me so much pleasure and ease. And it's from my friend and collaborator Enzo Orefice, and this is his jazz trio composition, I Don't Know. I hope you have enjoyed this episode and me being a bit more personal again. I really like having this outlet and possibility to create a conversation with you. And I would love to hear your thoughts, so send me an email on info@jonmagnusson.se or reach out to me on whatever social media you prefer. But for now, have a good day and remember, always be a rebel. But a rebel